Who says Lennox Lewis, say we favor Ali, chew me float like a butterfly, we sting like a bee. We lick down any boy that step in front of me and let him cry out, God help me.
Greatness was thrust upon Mr. Lennox Lewis tonight.
The undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, Lennox Lewis.
Lennox Lewis could be heavyweight champion of the world for the next 10 years if he so chooses, because he only gets better. He's got it all. He's got the package.
And when he stands up tall, uses his stature, moves on his feet and fires his jab, who's going to beat him?
No one. That was a time when we used to talk about Jack Dempsey, Joe Louis, Muhammad Ali, and very seldom another name would come in there. Now, you can put Lennox Lewis in that mix. He's in there with the all-time heavyweight champion of the world.
He was the most knowledgeable fighter that I ever fought. Wasn't nothing I could do to get him to fight the way I want to fight, that I would have that.
He showed us the sweet science of boxing, the simplicity to winning masterclass fights.
I believe that Lennox Lewis has the ability to become the best all-around heavyweight boxer of all time.
George Foreman declared you were the greatest heavyweight of all time,
yes,
right?
Yeah, the fact that he said that was a great honor.
You've told me and others that even at your best, you don't know if you could have handled Lennox Lewis.
Lennox Lewis is all of that, what I said. He's the best.
Lennox is the biggest name in boxing, in history of boxing.
Probably the greatest heavyweight champion of all time.
He remains the last heavyweight to hold the undisputed title.
Perfect balance all the time.
I'm a five-dimensional fighter, and that means I'm a boxer, puncher, mover.
That was my philosophy when I came into boxing.
It's just boxonology, simple as that.
Showed him a different style of moving.
I'm a superior boxer. I'm a true heavyweight. I'm a pugilist specialist.
I can switch any style I want to.
Absolute champion. He beat everybody.
We have Lennox Lewis, who, as you know, is one of the greatest heavyweight champions of all time.
One of the greatest heavyweight fighters ever in any era. I mean, the man beat everybody he faced. He been to 2 Olympic Games, 1 gold medal. His career speaks for itself.
He beat everybody in his era. He beat Tyson. He beat Holyfield. He beat Klitschko.
There's the jab again.
Undisputed heavyweight champion, the last undisputed heavyweight champion that we've had.
He's a very consummate fighter, and I always had a great deal of respect for Lennox. Me and Lennox has been friends, ironically, since we were both 15 and 16 years old. I've known Lennox before anybody in boxing known Lennox. This guy there's no way I could ever be. He's just too big and too strong.
Beating every fighter of his era, never dodged anyone. And when you look back at him, as I've said before, his history record is going to be phenomenal. He's proven himself to be the dominant heavyweight in boxing now for the last 10 years.
Lennox Lewis fights everybody they put in front of him, and he has fought the best in his division, as Emmanuel Stewart said, and he deserves acclaim now.
Listen, folks, now here's the deal. Lennox is a champion. That's real.
Went to shake Muhammad Ali's hand. He said, I used to be great. Yeah, you're the greatest.
Well, he can punch as hard as anyone in the history of boxing with that right hand, including Foreman, Shavers, Mike Tyson, anybody. He's a tremendous puncher.
Got true power. There's no hype about this guy.
He's beaten Evander Holyfield twice now. He just totally dominated Mike Tyson.
Riddick Bowe in the amateurs.
In 3 rounds. And that will always be over his head.
Lennox straight in with good head punches. And we have a standing count. Now, Bowe really has got to wake up here, or else it's lethargic. And again, Lewis is very close to the gold medal. It's all over. Riddick Bowe stopped in the second round.
He was being thrashed pretty good. He did take a pounding.
He hit me with good shoes. A good 2 shots, I got to admit. Well, he hit me with a good right hand.
How badly are you hurt here?
Well, I was shaking up pretty much.
Riddick Bowe didn't want to fight Lennox.
Riddick Bowe threw away a world championship belt rather than to have to fight Lennox Lewis. Mike Tyson is laboring in court right now via his representatives to try to avoid having to fight Lennox Lewis.
Let me address the strange phenomenon of American heavyweight champions, what I think are ducking Lennox Lewis.
Each and every time that they had an opportunity to choose to fight Lennox, they chose to fight me.
because they thought I was a less opponent.
Bring it on, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring it. I'm gonna bring it. You ain't said nothing but a word. Crazy about it was crazy.
I'm gonna knock you out.
You're a chump. You can knock nothing out, boy.
I'm gonna knock you out.
Knock me out. You ain't nothing. Knock me out. You ain't nothing to me. Watch them out. You ain't nothing to me.
I look into Riddick's eyes and I see absolute fear. He fears me. I think he's gonna sidestep me. Hopefully he doesn't. Don't let me call him Chicken Bo.
He decides to put the belt in the garbage. You know?
But he's beaten everyone they put in front of him. A great heavyweight champion.
We're in a gladiator sport, so, we take on all comers because we want to prove that we're the best.
There's the uppercut for the first time, and it wobbles to him.
Well, you got to have a lot of Vaseline in your mouth when you get in the ring. The first round, not enough lubrication there. You need Vaseline.
Lewis lands an uppercut, and Grant goes down. Thunderous uppercut.
Here was Lennox, who basically had now beaten Evander, Riddick Bowe, and now Tyson. This would be a clean sweep if he made it, and be, I think, a defining piece of history in his legacy.
The Hulk and the Rocket, folks.
Mike Tyson and Lennox Lewis separated by a cordon of security forces.
Tyson was coming up to the barrier and looking over. He was looking at me, he was looking at my body. I beat at my stomach saying, yeah, I'm ready.
This man is up to the mark. Let me look into the eye of the tiger and see if I see any wavering. And I don't think he saw him.
He's intimidated a lot of people, but he don't know who he's intimidated. I don't get intimidated. I don't take that. I'm a bad man in that sense.
They sparred as teenagers, brawled at a press conference.
Now they get together again as professionals, as Tyson's late trainer Customato had predicted them would.
I know he's gonna come at me, and I'm thinking, I'm not gonna give up right now. I'm the champion. In my mind, that's the ego aspect of it.
So mentally, I was prepared for that.
He'd beaten everyone of this era, but Mike Tyson. When he wins the gold medal in the Olympics in '88, Mike Tyson is like the god. He's on top of the world. So when he turned professional, it was always Mike Tyson, Mike Tyson.
15 years before that fight happened, how do you think it would have fared?
The problem was Mike always had trouble with bigger men anyway.
I believe they sparred as youngsters. I believe Lennox got the best of him then. I just believe Lennox got the tools that no matter what Mike would have did, it wouldn't help him. Lennox's jab is powerful, and Mike would have had to get past that. I just don't see how he would have got past it.
And there are two good jabs. Great jabs for Lennox Lewis. If he can only keep it up.
Lennox Lewis has done just about everything but finish the job here. He's put together combinations, his repertoires look good, he's boxed well behind the left jab.
Round two begins with Lewis sticking the jab, sticking the jab, sticking the jab, sticking the jab. Stick it, stick it, stick it. As Lewis keeps the left jab in his face.
Jab, jab. Tyson trying to duck inside.
That is one stiff jab.
Jabs continue to connect from Lewis on another one. Now he comes back to the jab, popping it and bringing it back the way you're supposed to.
A terrific performance by Lennox Lewis.
What we see is what we're going to get with Lennox Lewis. This is the guy you're going to see fight Mike Tyson if he gets past Ray Mercer eventually. He's not going to be any better than this.
Has to suck up whatever he's got now, double jab, get in, and make it the inside rumble that it was earlier.
And Davey, Lennox is employing the same strategy he did in round 9. That is to box, show some lateral movement.
Lewis in control here.
A totally confident Lennox Lewis.
Mike would have had trouble.
I just wanted to show him that I wasn't scared of him.
There's nobody I feared.
And I explained to him, this is like Hearns and Leonard. Whatever happens in this fight, you're going to live with the rest of your life. All of the rest of the victories and losses don't mean anything. Your legacy will pretty much be defined by this fight here.
There's no one in the world can take that from Lennox Lewis now. He is no doubt the best heavyweight of all time. What he's done clearly puts him on top of the heap.
Lennox Lewis stands alone atop boxing's heavyweight division.
so dominant that the thoroughly beaten Mike Tyson declined a preordained rematch.
Where do you go now? You've basically proven everything. You've beaten everybody. You've avenged the losses you've had. And what now? Possible retirement? Might this have been the crowning achievement and you'll say goodnight?
Yes, possible. Anything is possible.
He really is looking forward to hurry up and end in his career so he can really, become a husband and a father. That's one of the things he wants more than anything in life now, he says.
That would be my happy life, I think I'm getting closer to that.
What are we going to do? Are you going to hang up your gloves, or do we take on Vladimir Klitschko and have a year or two more?
We want to prove that we're the best. We want to prove that we're the best against the best. There's somebody out there that can beat us. We want to know how, why.
Vladimir Klitschko, he's not tough enough. He's not ready for me yet. You know what I mean? I would be a waste of my time to go fight him. I would knock him out.
Well, the one thing that was unknown about Vladimir coming into this fight was what would happen if he got tagged by a legitimate puncher. Now we know. And the referee, Gennaro Rodriguez, stops the fight, and thus ends the Vladimir Klitschko Express.
Is there anyone you want to fight?
I've already done everything that I really wanted to do in the sport of boxing, so, I'm going to keep him guessing for a little while longer.
We were happy, We were chilling. My trainer said, well, boy, you can put the icing on the cake. You can get rid of the last generation and touch up the new generation. I'm like, yeah, I like that. I've always said one for breakfast, one for lunch.
I'm Vladimir Klitschko. I'm Vitaly Klitschko. I'm not fighting Lennox Lewis.
Somebody took my breakfast, so he's my lunch.
Enter fistic giant Vitaly Klitschko.
I am fighting Lennox Lewis.
He of the 6'8" frame and sledgehammer right hand. His puncher's chance, improved by Lewis's advanced age and the sudden adjustment to fighting Klitschko.
For Lewis and Klitschko, tonight's significant meeting was not expected until December.
He took this fight on a 2 weeks notice, literally. You just don't do that as a heavyweight champion unless you're overconfident.
The original plan called for this to be the date of the Lennox Lewis-Mike Tyson rematch. When Tyson declared himself unprepared to face Lewis again, he was then slated to fight on the undercard tonight in LA. That also fell through.
Do you think it will be to your advantage that he has only 2 weeks to prepare to fight you?
Yes.
15 years ago happens battle. About this battle talking until today, many millions of people want to see the second part of the fight. Lennox Lewis against Klitschko. And today, we fight the shadows. Again, inside the ring. And make a commentary for our fight. It never happens. It will be very interesting to see the feeling inside the ring. And with the continuer, please. 2003.
It's a sight most of us never thought we'd see again. Lewis coming out to fight when it seemed he'd written the final chapter.
And he's always kept that steely look.
Going to the ring, it's got to mean something. And I said, I'm just going to focus.
Tunnel vision from Lennox Lewis.
He looks right, he looks focused. He knows he's got a mission here.
He's come out here with a gladiatorial aspect, and Lennox is definitely ready to rumble. You can see that in his face. He's ready to go, most definitely.
Throughout his career, Lennox Lewis has projected at moments like this an almost supernatural calm. If you look carefully at Lennox Lewis and you conclude that his face shows you nothing, then you are in good and populous company. He labors to project an image of unshakable calm and usually succeeds.
My friends were saying, Jah, which is God, wouldn't give the power to a bald head. That's why I started growing my locks, to gain my strength, because I had a Samson-like complex. As my hair grew, I just felt I got stronger.
Who looks as if he's in the zone there, Glenn, doesn't he?
Yes, he does, as always. Totally focused. He really is a thorough professional. Mentally, he looks right. He looks focused. He looks determined. He looks like he always does. Very cool. I'm sure he's a good chess player. He'd be a pretty good poker player as well, Lennox.
That was the vibe going in the ring. Chasing all the crazy ball heads out of town.
He says Vitaly Klitschko's been calling me out Now he's going to find out what he's been asking for. He's already secured his niche in history. He's been at the top for a decade. Only Muhammad Ali, Joe Lewis and Larry Holmes have had more title fights than this man.
He is one of the few fighters in boxing history to have defeated every opponent he has ever faced. From London, England, the linear, legitimate, universally recognized, undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, Lennox Lewis.
It's very important to be here because I will be fight not for me. It's Lennox Lewis, don't know. You fight against two brothers Klitschko.
So will it be heaven or will it be hell for Vitaly Klitschko? Most critics think it will be hell. And they look like John L. Sullivan and James J. Corbett.
Will Lewis try to jump on Klitschko early on? He's been very, very aggressive usually when he's fought big men.
He came out fast like, yo, you know, I don't know who this guy is, but, you know, I'm taking it easy. But he's coming out fast and licking me and actually hurt me one time.
Looking for that right hand straight away. Klitschko with his awkward but sometimes effective style gets in with a right hand as they work in close.
And he clumped on me and I'm like,
you felt the weight.
Yeah, I felt the weight. I'm like, yo, I have to throw off this man and then beat him up. It's just difficult.
When two tall guys get in the ring, it calls for a lot of clutching because nobody has room to move out of the way. One's moving there together.
And both are fighters who tend to use their height to their advantage and fight behind the high guard. Klitschko with the right, Lewis misses with the left. Klitschko pawing with his punches, but throwing punches as Lewis has not gotten his jab going early.
It's a good start this by Klitschko. Can Lewis get his jab going? No emotion, he said, when I heard I was fighting Lewis.
I found it very awkward, you know, standing back like that, leaning back like that.
Sometimes you think he's there, and then when you punch, he's not because he's leaned out of the way.
Vitaly boxed a great fight. He was a great opponent for me.
After this fight, all boxing fans, all audience, all commentators appreciate and respect my boxing skills.
Lewis beginning to sharpen up his punches.
I was trying to really hit him with my jab.
18 stone, 4.5 pounds around.
By CompuBox numbers, Klitschko threw 73 punches, landed 23. Lewis 18 out of 39, got his jab going late in the round as you saw. And now Lewis begins to jab Klitschko backward again.
Klitschko has got to get back and just counter that jab one time.
Hard right hand landed by Klitschko. Lewis holds on.
Well, that's the danger for Lewis. Lewis is trying to get that jab working. He's pushed the head back of Klitschko a couple of times.
Don't hold. Step
Klitschko
back.
can be dangerous with the left hook as well.
He's got a different
left hand lands for Klitschko. Lewis momentarily stunned by the little left.
The fight is his. All he has to do is reach out and get it.
With awkward short arm shots, he's beating Lewis to the punch. He rips him again with the right hand. Lewis momentarily wobbles.
He wanted a hold. Klitschko has got him a bit wobbly here. Lewis is in trouble here in round 2.
You wasn't groggy. I was groggy, but I held him. I held him when I was groggy.
You know, he was trying to throw me off, and I'm like, nah, I'm not let go.
Wow, he had no chance in this fight.
Oh no!
I see that.
I was just biding my time. Well, this is a 12-round fight. This ain't no 6-round fight.
To me, a fight is not a fight until there's resistance, until there's something to overcome. Something to overcome.
He got hurt by that shot. Lennox's chin is coming in the air.
I definitely had to adjust in this fight. It was difficult to get with the jab, difficult to get with the right hand.
He'll bend forward, let you punch, then he'll take his body back away from you. Punch and move you around as he's doing that.
Can Lewis turn this around again? He's hit with the right hand by this big, strong Ukrainian.
Lewis looking ponderous.
Feared this might happen. when we saw the way, but there's a left jab of some authority by Lewis, and that rocked Klitschko momentarily. Stopped him in his tracks. It was a heavy, heavy shot. Best yet from Lewis. But Klitschko comes back again, and Lewis, his defence looks a bit leaky tonight.
He got off to a real good start. He really was focused for this fight. He was hyped up for it. He wanted Lennox Lewis in the ring, and he got him.
Well, I think there's definite ring rust there. He's looking slow and ponderous.
They trade big right hands. Lewis gets the worst of it.
This is Gary Ward on the highest level on the scale.
This is the kind of fight where one punch could turn the whole thing around.
You're not in a fight until there's pressure, resistance, overcoming something.
Walking on the punches as he comes forward.
Klitschko got there with a left hook as well. Lewis is trying to gamble with big shots. He's forgotten the jab and he's leaving himself really open. He just looks a shadow of himself.
It's actually, wow, you were so close to go flying to the floor in this moment.
Let me tell you, he caught me with a good punch there, and as you can see, I held on to him, and he was shocked because he couldn't get loose to finish the job.
Great fighters, when the fight came to them, they found a way to do what they had to do.
Well, it's an exciting start, but Lewis doesn't seem to have a game plan. He's just walking forward, trying to get shots on. There's no strategy.
Take it to him now. The left hook is working good. Just take it to him, and when you get through with every punch, start pushing him. You understand?
Emmanuel Stewart says take it to him.
So I said, all right, you know what? I'm going to bust him with pressure.
Dr. Iron Fist, as he's known. He's beginning to show why in here. And now Lewis goes for it. Is he going to show championship quality here with an all-out attack?
Well, Lewis should have forgot more than Klitschko's ever known. So he's got to try and do something special here.
And there's a cut now by Klitschko's left. As he turns around, Klitschko is cut by the left eye.
Good work with the jab from Klitschko.
Never been a heavyweight championship between big men with this kind of intense action.
We thought it might be dramatic. It is.
Lewis looking for the big left hook. Normally the right hand follows that.
He's got a real problem with that cut, Glenn.
So happened, a great punch I threw cut him, and you know,
crazy uppercut.
When I seen even the cut, he gave me something to aim for as well.
See that? I was stepping to him, I was giving him the pressure, I was really sticking him with my jab, just pushing at him. What I did to Klitschko, I brought him in the deep end. You know, after 5 rounds, you know, this is what's the problem with most heavyweights, especially nowadays when I'm watching them. The 6th, 7th round, they just go way down.
In this fight, the winner was boxing.
Now Lewis starts to find the range with that jab. Is Klitschko going to be discouraged by the injury?
So my thing was that I'm just going to go after him, and then anytime when I'm coming with my punches, they're heavy. Woof, woof. My whole body's coming. So it's coming straight, So if it hits you, you know, your face and your whole body's moving with it. So if you see that fight again, you're going to see anytime I lick him, he just jarred. His whole body jarred.
Yeah,
that's because everything was coming. Yeah, everything was coming.
Well, Lewis is getting the better of this round. That solid jab, backing Klitschko up.
The main thing is start driving your jab. You're hitting it with the jab, and the jab is what busted up his eye and cut him up. He continued hitting with jabs and moved him all across the ring.
There's the jab again. Is there a turning of the tide in this round with the cut? He walked into a right hand, Lewis, but walked straight through it, surprisingly. Which of these 2 oak trees will be the last standing in the forest?
But I think that cut has worried Klitschko.
It's a really bad gash, and it's a shame. He was caught too with jabs, and once he got the jab going, he got some other punches going too, Lewis.
Well, that showed that right hand. That's what looked like where the cut was caused. Then we saw the blood there.
All-out war.
Big right hand from Lewis.
He's mauling Klitschko.
Lewis just looking for the big right hand.
Lennox Lewis is doing the old catching. He's standing right in the middle of the ring and using his shoulders now to catch shots.
Now there's a good jab by Lewis.
There are moments here where they both look ready to go.
Nobody's ever doubted Lewis's heart.
Another big right hand.
All right, you're coming on good now. He still got that round, but you're coming on good. His man is getting tired. One thing, you're pushing him all the time now. Keep pushing your weight on him all while you're inside the clinch. The left hook, if you ever catch him with the left hook, he's going to be going down.
Fourth round, I said, look, we got to take it to the streets. I said, run out there when you jab this time. Don't just jab, push all the way through, where you push him off balance. And if you miss with a left hook, bump him with your shoulders. When you get inside, sort of rip it uppercut.
This is the round that Emmanuel Stewart, the trainer of Lewis, predicted a finisher.
Lewis looking for the uppercut.
Famous uppercut from Lennox Lewis. It was really the ball switch off the light. He lifting me in the air.
Emmanuel will come in and say, boy, you know, we're going to develop an uppercut and work on it, and we're going to knock this guy out with the uppercut. They're watching the free right hand, but we're going to show him the uppercut. And he was right.
Good left hand from Lewis.
You heard Emmanuel Stewart saying that the left hook could be the punch that would put Vitaly away.
This guy doesn't like body punches. I'm going to work on his body.
These body shots were hurting him. Oh, I could hear him go, Still hit me.
So my combination is head, body, and then head. You know, I'm going to mix it up.
Is Klitschko prepared to go through the pain barrier?
Good left hook there from Klitschko.
He seems to be just the boss, doesn't he? Lewis looking a bit troubled and disorganized.
When the going gets tough, the tough get going. And I'm tougher than him.
He hit me. Fuck this.
Good punching ability as well.
Lennox was a mean, tough man inside of him.
I said, let me leave the boxing out of the way. We're two big guys. We're just going to go heart to heart. I know my heart's bigger than his. You know, I just wanted to go after him and slug it out with him. And that's what I did. It was just a matter of time. If you look at his face, it shows the remnants of me getting in there.
The cut's worse again for Klitschko.
Blood. I smell blood. Don't. Yo, I'm, you know.
Good jab from Lennox there.
You know, it's really mind over matter. My mind's stronger than his. You know, you gotta say you can do it, and you gotta do it.
Well, Lewis fought well for the last 20 seconds of the round, but Klitschko breathes heavily as he goes back to the corner, and his face is a mess. Is there a cut on the cheek as well, or is that just the blood from the eye?
I think the cheek's cut as well.
Yeah, another gash.
All around that left eye is swollen and cut.
Vitaly boxed a great fight. He was a great opponent. Every great fighter wants to box another great fighter.
Well, it is a terrible injury, both and below that eye. But his temperament's been good, Klitschko. He's kept it together.
With each passing round, the chance increases that Vitaly Klitschko will see his bid for the heavyweight championship end on that bad left eye cut.
Lennox Lewis is trying to do it all with one big right hand. His corner told him, throw the left hip hook. Just throw the right hand and come back with the hook.
Hard right hand by Vitaly Klitschko. Between rounds, every time the doctor goes into Vitaly's corner, they're pausing the clock.
Good shots again.
If you look at my fight was boom, boom, boom. I was getting stronger as I was going. He was getting weaker because he started off fast. So that's what I'm saying. I was bringing him in the deep end. That type of pressure nobody's given him in none of his fights.
He studied him, fought the fight 1,000 times in his head. Oh, what an uppercut from Lewis! Absolute peach, but Klitschko took that too.
That's where I was bringing him. I brought him in the deep end.
Those uppercuts definitely started the ball rolling and caused Vitaly to hold a lot.
Trying to take advantage to a blinded left eye. Oh, what an uppercut!
Yes, I actually felt that was the knockout punch. But I didn't know only had such a big neck. Every other fighter was in the floor. Yeah, any other fighter would have been on the floor, that's for sure.
He was holding for dear life all the time, every time. I was trying to push him up. So Vitaly was holding.
This corner's got to take a good look at this guy's eye. I know it's a world heavyweight title match and all that, but a man has got to see.
There's the uppercut again from Lewis, who is showing some championship quality.
At the end of the 6th round, I think, when I was talking to him, he says, I got him now, I got him. He could resort to just being a brutal physical fighter if he had to.
I know when we reach the later rounds, which I have a lot of experience at, because I've been through those fights where, boy, I have to pick it up in the late rounds. That's where I was bringing him.
And he was more experienced, and he would have prevailed because of his experience in those big fights. And those 2 uppercuts that he landed let me know that he was on his way.
I tell truth, as so many cuts, is one of them nobody sees was in the mouth, make a speech, 60 speeches after this fight, and one of the biggest ones in the world after your uppercut. If I first time see the cut in the video, I also shocked.
They've stopped the fight. They've stopped the fight, and they're going to declare Lewis the winner. And Lewis is still the champion.
I think the round just before the fight ended, he hit him with 2 tremendous uppercuts. And I knew that the fight was over with. And it was very, very bad facial lacerations, in addition to we could feel that he was getting weak. And I felt Lennox's experience in these type situations, which he's been in quite often.
You're lucky in this fight. In this fight.
I know the fight wasn't going to go to 12 rounds. I felt beyond any doubt that at the time when the fight stopped, Lennox was going to knock him out the next round. And I really feel that he was deprived of a great knockout victory.
He's looking.
Because it was a tough fight. And even though Lennox was a little clumsy looking because he was really having a problem with the height, but he wasn't really hurt. And I talked to him. I've been in between rounds. He was fully aware of everything. He'd gotten his 2nd win.
Lennox, he was a little bit fat, and you was in not good condition.
Well, first of all, I was in Lennox's corner, so no one can tell me. So I don't know where you was actually. Lennox was not exhausted. And with Lennox's experience in these type fights, and he's been in them before with Ray Merson, whatever, I can tell you without any doubt, he was going to knock out Vitaly.
I knock you out in the next round.
I would have knocked you out the next round.
Come on, yes. I was prepared to finish you.
You cannot finish me with one eye. You need 2 eyes.
You're happy, and you was lucky in this fight. And you know what? To be honest, we see the cards, and I won by points. In 6 rounds, you doesn't have a chance.
And you were not fighting a 6-round fight.
The doctor told stop the fight. It's helped you.
The doctor helped you.
Everybody see. I beat you so badly. You have no chance in this fight. Be honest, I am very appreciative. Thank you for Lennox. Lennox Lewis gave me a chance to prove my boxing skills against strongest champion of the history of boxing. Lennox, thank you, buddy.
You gave me a great fight, and I want to dub you my hardest opponent. Congratulations. You made it fun for me, and it was great boxing you.
Even though he lost, it was really the big night of Vitaly's career. It was the night when people said, oh, this guy's, he can hang with the cream of the crop. You said, of course, it was not your best night.
Listen, he had a lot of wars. He's been through a lot of wars. You know what I mean? And now he's fighting another guy and this is what I wanted to explain what happened with him, with Lennox, with Vitaly. You know, he's been going through all these fights. He had his range. And now it's this guy that he's just focused on you. And he put all the energies, all the chemicals, anything, whatever. And I'm talking about emotional chemicals, not no fake chemicals. And it's everything. His whole iota is just to beat this guy. And that's a lot of energy to overcome.
Yeah, no, definitely. He was the young guy. He definitely wanted the title. He prepared for me for 2 years. I didn't know, I'm sitting back. I'm at the top of the top of the crop. He's basically, watching me because I'm the man at the top. He's preparing for me. So I'm like, oh, it's a date, you know, I'm going to retire soon, so okay, I'll take it. Wasn't prepared how I should have been. I wanted to actually take him at the end of the year, so have a warm-up fight first, but that didn't happen. So we went into the fight. This guy is 6'9".
That's a good right hand from Klitschko.
About before he's looking at it.
Good shots.
I don't think Adamek believed anyone could punch as hard as this.
Vladimir Klitschko said, I had to learn how to fight. My older brother was born to fight.
Vitaly's a very tough man, believe me. Mentally, he's maybe one of the toughest guys that's ever been in the heavyweight division. I would rate him right up there with George Foreman and those type guys as far as his mental makeup. Where he can just simply move back right. He always does it.
So when I was in the fight, I had to adapt to this guy's size and his weight. When I heard him, he basically clumped on me and it's like,
you were doing some moving too.
Yeah.
You gotta avoid this tree collapsing down.
Gentlemen, since coming back from 4 years off with injury in 2008, this will be the 70th round of heavyweight boxing for Vitaly Klitschko, and arguably, he's won them all.
It's just amazing. It's just amazing. At his age.
But Vitaly is a very dominating guy. As soon as the bell rings, he sets the pace. He's busy. He has a great knockout record, but the record is basically in percentage off of him being so busy and systematically destroying guys, whereas Vladimir is not aggressive enough the way his Vitaly is.
No, it's a great point. Vitaly Klitschko has the highest knockout percentage in the history of the heavyweight division.
No, but he sets the tempo. As soon as the fight starts, he comes out right away with his hands down. He starts jabbing and doing things and making his opponent get to think about what he's going to do.
I was at Madison Square Garden. I watched him beat the hell out of a knockout Kirk Johnson. He won a real rough and tumble fight against the very explosive, dangerous Corey Sanders. He went toe-to-toe with Lennox Lewis. He fights compared to Vladimir like he looks, a little more rugged.
The difference is Vladimir is so fragile and unsecure the way he fights as compared to Vitaly.
Oh, well, there's no question that Vladimir has the more vulnerable chin, don't you think?
Well, history will show that.
Yes.
Hall of Fame inductee in the modern category, Vitaly Klitschko.
Too bad we didn't do it again. I'm telling you, if Vitaly would have said something about my mother or something like that, I would have probably fought him, but he's too nice. He's too nice. You know what? I know who was the winner of this fight. In this fight, the winner was the boxing. We need this fight. About this fight, 15 years long, talking people.
Who would have thought we would have seen a heavyweight, a super heavyweight fight like the fight we saw a few weeks ago between Gatti and Ward. The theater of the unexpected. I think this is what the fans want to see. We've never seen two big guys like this go at it the way these two guys did. And that's what the fans love.
The best heavyweight title fight I've seen in years. I never expected anything like this.
Stop the fight! They've stopped the fight and they're going to declare Lewis the winner!
You know, I'm so disappointed. I'm destroyed with this decision. Because I prepared me for this fight so long time. I wait 1 year, the chance to fight world championship. I want to be world champion. And I want rematch. I want rematch, and Lewis, I beat him. I know that.
This now becomes a big pay-per-view event.
Lennox called me 1 week ago and gave me information he want to retire. Yeah, I'm really appreciate Lennox give me information, and first it's respect. I want to say for Lennox Lewis for that. Thank you very much.
June 21st was my last fight as a professional boxer.
The greatest of his era, which not only, I think, makes him a very top boxer, but one of the all-time greats. He has beaten everybody of his era, and Lennox Lewis is a great heavyweight and one that should be appreciated. He's going out on top, which only adds to his credentials, and at 38.
There is nothing left for Lennox Lewis to prove. All that remains is a record of his glory and a debate about his legacy.
I would love for history to just
speak it the way it is. Reality, I mean, I'm basically making my history. My problem is, will they write it down correctly?
I realized that when I first went into boxing, I was a man on a mission, and you could say my mission's complete. I've already beaten everybody, and for me to continue boxing, I would just be boxing for the money. I want to be one of these boxers that when I say I retire, I've retired. And when you look back in the history books, all you're going to remember is what I've achieved, not how much money I've made. So the money thing is not really a big thing for me. So I'm saying, no.
I've been there, done that. I touched the other era, which is the Klitschkos. What did I need to do? I didn't need to do anything more, so it was time for me to retire.
And it's been a great run, and I'm very happy with the run, and it's time to stop that and go on and do something else.
Is there any possibility that a year down the road, you wake up one day and you say, God, I can't stand looking at those heavyweights. I can beat them all. I got to take one more shot at it.
No, not really, because, that's what I'm going to say. I can beat them all, so why do I need to go in there and prove it? I think I've already proven all I needed to prove. I always wanted to box, get that out of the way, focus on my boxing, now have a family. Lennox Lewis doesn't want to be a boxer all his life. I don't want to just think about boxing all the time. There's other things, other goals that I want to accomplish.
Oh, big left hook.
Lennox was good enough that he would have been a problem with any heavyweight in history. Lennox is good left jab. He had a very good variety of punches. He was pretty decent with his left hook. Developed a good right uppercut. And as we all know, he had a very good, strong right hand always. And Lennox could be very physical when he wanted to. That was the one thing that made him a little different. He could do any and everything. Even with me and the rest of the camp, we didn't know what he would do sometimes.
Take the path of least resistance, which is so much the custom today. He took the path of most resistance in Andrew Galata.
A tremendously notorious fighter.
Right hand over the top by Lewis. Galata momentarily stunned. Left hook by Lewis. Galata goes down.
This fight is over. The referee just stopped it already.
Cortez gave Galata a lot of time, but he has absolutely nothing as Lewis pounds him to the canvas again. That's it. That's it. Tremendous statement by Lennox Lewis.
Two-time heavyweight champion in the world. And guess what, y'all? I'm with the real champ.
Every tick goes by is a tick in Shannon Briggs' favor.
Yeah, but that wasn't in Shannon Briggs' favor. That was more than a tick.
That was a top. 6, 7.
Lewis trying to gather himself.
Hard left hand by Briggs. Lewis is hurt. And he comes back with his own left hook. And another right hand. Vitali trying to take advantage to a blinded left eye. Oh, what an uppercut.
I've always said from the day that I first saw Lennox, he was the best heavyweight that I'd ever saw.
He's a great fighter, super strong, focused. I know he's a good guy. I don't like this bum.
He is for the wonderful fight. This guy is, there's no way I could ever be he's a very consummate fighter.
He's already done so much in a distinguished career.
He's a great guy, and he's a good champion, and he's a very good fighter who's probably, by him being a champion on a given night, would beat anybody in the history of the division.
I don't want to compare myself against people who I looked up to. I would say, I would love to walk in the same footsteps as them, but I've got bigger shoes. So, really what you're doing is comparing era. I'm just the best boxer in this era.
The IBF and the IBO heavyweight champion of the world, Lennox the Lion Lewis.
I'll be looked at as a person that's basically done it with dignity, honor, did it myself, did it my way, and got out at the right time. Somebody that's went through trials and tribulation, and with everything against him was able to be successful.
Now he can relax, deserves it too.
Not too many guys wanted to fight him. Not too many guys were stepping up and saying, well, let me have a shot at Lennox Lewis. And here's the reason why.
Yeah, because they knew the talent that Lennox possessed. Here you go.
You know, the main thing for me was getting the 3 belts.
Lewis pouring it on.
My trainer, Randy Stewart, always says, make sure that you can box on the outside, make sure you can box on the inside.
So I learned to box on the inside because of that.
Put their will on the other man. Lewis has really piling it on here. Good shot from Mercer. He tries to put some speed with it here. Some good speed and power on Mercer. Back to Lewis. What a war.
Lennox Lewis looks like he's not only beating down Galata, he's beating down everybody who ever doubted him in the ring. He says he's the best fighter in the world. He gets the opinion he's the best heavyweight that ever walked the planet. Well, he goes to prove that right here.
The main man, the lion, Lennox.
It's a great honor just to be along the same lines with Muhammad Ali.
I'm really honored to be here tonight. It's a great honor.
My brother,
our sport is usually looked at as a brutal and savage sport. But, you know, to the boxers, we look at it differently. We look at it as a sweet science, a magical dance. So we understand that. And for me, being in boxing, I just wanted to live up to that and keep dignity and the humanistic aspect of it, and the positiveness of it, and live to that today and keep that so people will remember me in such a way that's what I did for boxing.
Boxing's a good sport. Not everybody's going to be a footballer. Not everybody's going to be a basketball player. Not everybody's going to be a boxer. But at least you can come to one of my camps and learn how to conflict resolution. You can learn how to be a winner. You can learn how to lose correctly, and you know, set goals for yourself. I can show you how to box correctly because, you know, I find that a lot of boxers are not boxing. There's a lot of mistakes that they're making, and you know, come to one of my camps. Even some of the trainers, which are boxers, they said, oh, they've learned a lot even coming to the camps because, you know, they used to hold their right hand a certain way. Now I teach them to hold it the proper way.
And to all the boys that's going to Lennox Lewis League of Champions, make sure you dedicate yourself to the sport. Make sure you stay humble and make sure you listen. Lennox is a great man. I got my jab from him. I took a little bit from him and made it my own way, so I know what I'm talking about. Trust me, that was years ago, so you're definitely in good hands.
What you're going to say is, why didn't I think of this a long time ago? Or, why didn't the other heavyweights come and get me? Because I've got so much knowledge. Giving back and making a difference is important.
Bringing up the youth and showing the youth certain things, positive things. It's basically their world, and we're helping to curve it to a certain way.
Oh, what a role model. What a way to say it's worth the work, it's worth the discipline, it's worth the physical difficulties. You need somebody like a Lennox Lewis to give them real vision.
Kids are the future, so I'm building minds to the future, and you know, hopefully one day there can be some Mike Tysons out there, some Lennox Lewises out there, some Obamas out there, you know, presidents, doctors, you know, anything they want to become, they can become. Just, you know, realize there's a sacrifice, put in the work, find out how do I get there, and go do it.
Lennox wanted to put something back into his local community, and the idea came basically from his own experience because he'd been an hooligan basically, and he felt that he was given another chance, but he was given another chance by somebody who said if you don't sort your life out, then basically you're going to be a criminal or you're going to be dead.
You know, if there wasn't people and things for me to do and people to step in there and correct me when I was going wrong or even show me some kind of attention, I don't know what I would be or where I would be today.
It's really giving back an investment in young people.
This is what we love to do, man. We love the kids, and we give warmth to the kids, and we see it coming back. Kids like these are going to be definitely successful. Yeah.
Lennox have not the big muscles, also big power.
You know, as long as it's for kids, as long as it's something positive, we're in it. Lennox Lewis League of Champions Foundation. You know, when I leave this earth, I want people to say, this is what you've done. This is what you've contributed to life.
And you'll be happy.
I'll be very happy. I'm happy now. It's time for the young guys to take over.
Blessings.
Every time.
Nice. Unbelievable, great fight. Enjoy, all right?
So, you know, I feel good that I've accomplished my boxing goal. Now it's on to other goals, you know. Once again, thanks a lot. It's a tremendous honor, and thanks for everybody for being here and for and to the rest of the inductees.
The last undefeated heavyweight champion of the world, Lennox Lewis.
So I say to you, gentlemen, let the next era begin.